We'll go right in the front with Shane on your right.
Coach Shane Young of Forbes. You forced them into a lot of tough looks at the rim in Game 4. I'm just curious what you thought of the helper situations and just your help principles in general.
Yeah, I thought they were really good in Game 4. That helped us get to Game 5, but just understand we can't have 3 on the ball. They're too good of being able to make that pass, and they're the best team at shooting the 3. So there's some things that we can clean up, and that we're going to have to be better here in Game 5 if we want to win.
Again, we have the microphones around the room, so please raise your hand. We'll take questions. Over here, Sam, on the 4th row.
Hello, sir.
Oh, wow.
Good to see you again.
Good afternoon.
I saw a clip the other day of Ty Lue talking about the Cavs' 3-1 recovery against the Warriors a few years back. And on the one hand, it seems cliche when you tell your team one game at a time, but he drilled that in. Like, I do not want you thinking about anything past this game. I imagine there's some version of that for you guys right now, but how are you handling the mental focus to not look at the bigger picture?
Yeah, I think I think what helps is we were in that situation last game, and so not to change or deviate from what we talked about in Game 4 is just take each possession, one possession at a time, and hopefully we can put ourselves up winning each quarter, and we ended up doing that. Same thing that we're talking about today and tomorrow is we can only focus on Game 5 and trying to find a way to win here in Boston.
Any other questions? Over here on the 4th row.
Jeff Zilgett, USA Today.
Hey, Jeff.
Jason, how you doing? It seems like you got a little closer in Game 2 and Game 3, and you finally pulled off in Game 4. I was wondering sort of in real time what you're seeing about the progression of your team and learning in the moment what's required to win in the finals.
Yeah, it's hard to win in the finals. And so I think, as you brought up, each game we've gotten better on both ends, offensively and defensively. And so if the trend is to continue to get better, hopefully we can do that in Game 5, where we can get better defensively and offensively. We start to knock down shots here in Game 4, and hopefully we can get those same shots in Game 5 and have the opportunity to knock them down. But looking at Luka and Kai, those two have to set the tone for us, and everybody else will follow.
Tim, here on your left.
And you mentioned Kyrie setting the tone. Obviously unique circumstances for him. Struggled in the first couple games here in Boston. Having been through those first couple games, how do you think that might benefit him coming back for another crack at it here in Boston? Yeah,
I think, and I'm not speaking for him, but just from experience, you just, as an athlete, you want to get another opportunity, and he has that opportunity here tomorrow night, and hopefully he can take full advantage of that, make some adjustments that he can, look back at Game 1 and 2 and see what they were doing to him defensively, and hopefully take advantage in Game 5.
On your right, Joe.
Joe Varden, The Athletic. After Game 4, in your post-game comments, you mentioned that Luka needs to be ready tomorrow to be put back into pick-and-roll situations. Did you guys do something in Game 4 to, I guess, protect him from that? Because it didn't seem like he was run through the ringer like he had been in those first 3 games.
Our defense didn't really change. I think just the effort. I think Luka participated at a high level, and he was really good on the ball. Came up with some deflections and steals, and we believe that he's going to be involved in the pick and roll tomorrow. And so we're going to need that same effort from him, but also for the guys that are there to help protect him. They'll be ready to protect him, but he's got to participate at a high level, and we believe he will.
Mike, here on your left.
Mike Curtis, Dallas Morning News. You mentioned three-point shooting and just the fact that shots went down in Game 4. I know the game was already decided in the fourth quarter, but Tim Hardaway making 5 threes in that span. Did you see anything that kind of I guess you can lean on for Game 5?
Yeah, he looked like he joined a special company. He looked like Ray and Steph, and so we're gonna need that, here in Game 5. If if it's a close game, hopefully he's able to knock down those same shots, get those same shots. But it was great to see Timmy, knock down those shots, and hopefully he can build on that. But as a team, we can build on that, and we're going to need that here in Game 5.
Last two here on the left, and then Brad.
Jason Al said after Game 4 that they didn't really have to make adjustments, the Celtics, after the first 3 games, and now they're going to have to go back, see what they need to change. So what changes are you anticipating from them?
They're not a team that changes. They're a team that makes you change, and so they're going to probably look to see that they had some good looks from 3 that didn't go down, and also, being able to probably, get Tatum and Brown going early. Having those two attack, our defense early is probably something that could be an adjustment. But for them, it's, shooting the 3, creating the 3, and then capitalizing on your mistakes. And hopefully, for us, our mistakes were low in Game 4, and hopefully they're low in Game 5.
Brad, final question.
Nico was noting a couple of days ago that 4 of your top 8 guys really have not been in long playoff runs before, in some very little playoff. All of y'all's best games in each series have been Game 5s, and I was just wondering is there something to that, or players kind of getting adjusted to the opponent and the level of competition as series get older?
Yeah, I think there's probably something to that. If we look at the analytics of our group, they're young, and as the series goes on, they get better. And so hopefully that's true tomorrow night. Sometimes when you do play an opponent, and over and over, you get used to the tendencies, and you start to, capitalize on that on both ends, defensively and offensively. And so hopefully our group has seen enough of Boston to understand what they're good at, and hopefully we can take that away tomorrow night.
Thank you. Okay, we'll take questions for Luka. In the back row on the end.
Hey, Luka, ESPN Brazil. Can we talk a little about football? I just saw that you were watching the Euro. But my question is, you've played for Real Madrid. And sometimes, and I'm talking about the football thing, when Real Madrid faces another team, we used to say that it's way harder because Real Madrid has a huge tradition. And you guys are facing Boston Celtics, that is a 17 times champion. I want to know if there's any relation when you guys face a team that has this tradition as Boston Celtics when somebody faces Real Madrid, if there's any comparison. Thank you.
I would say Real Madrid is in the league of their own. They're the top of the Europe. But obviously Boston has been, I think Boston Lakers, they're obviously the 2 major NBA teams in the league. They've been since day one, so it's obviously a little bit of comparison, yeah.
Over here on the left.
Hi, Luka. How you doing? All year, you've been facing back-to-the-wall games, going back to FIBA, Canada, and as recently as OKC. I know it's the finals, so it is different. Can you just reflect on how it is different going into tomorrow night?
I mean, it's obviously different because it's the finals. Every team plays the whole season to be here. We are the one to be here in Boston, obviously. So it's a little bit different, but the end of the day, you got to play basketball. You got to give everything you have. Thank you.
Front left, Tim.
You're always talking about, even down 0-3, down 0-2 against the Suns a couple of years ago. Your thing is you've got to believe. You got to believe until the end. Is that something that, what's that discussion like in the locker room? What's that, is that something you're trying to get your teammates to, grab onto, or, what's that dynamic like?
Yeah, we talk about it. I think the most important thing is to show that we believe. I think we showed in Game 4. If we wouldn't believe, we probably wouldn't won that game. So I think Obviously, the talk is easy to talk about it, but then showing it is another thing. So I think we showed it.
Fifth row on your right.
Luca, Miguel Ángel Briceño de México, no sé si esperábamos más bien la pregunta a la referencia de las remontadas del Real Madrid, que es algo de donde tú vienes y que no sé si es algo que se impregna en todos los deportes, fútbol, en el caso de básquetbol, de donde tú vienes, el espíritu del Real Madrid es algo que se menciona prácticamente a nivel de todo el mundo.
Sí, seguro, sobre todo para mí, porque ahí crecí, ahí vi todo, aprendí muchas cosas y seguro que me ayudó y siempre veo lo detrás, lo que hizo el Real Madrid por mí.
Next row up on the right.
Luka, how are you? I was just wondering, what was different for you in Game 4, Luka? Because it seemed like mentally you were more focused, you were different. There were no interactions with the ref. As you watch Game 3, what did you feel like changed for Game 4?
The changes, we just needed to win the game. I think we didn't play our best first 3 games, so we had to change something and play better in Game 4.
Joe, front right.
Luka, Joe Varden, The Athletic. How is your chest? How is it? Does it impact, or what does it impact or limit for you? And then you also know you're dealing with some leg injuries too. How are those, and which one is tougher to manage between the chest and the leg stuff?
At this point in the season, it's just a lot of things going on. So, but I'm fine. If I'm playing, I'm fine. So, no worries.
Luka, Shane Young with Forbes. You guys seem pretty tight together and on a string defensively in Game 4. Just curious, like who have been the biggest communicators on the defensive end for you guys when things get tight?
I think everyone. That was our in preseason. That was our key discussion. We had to talk on defense, and when we play together and we play good defense, is when everybody's talking, and communication is a big part of our success on defense.
Over here on the left, fifth row.
Luka, feliz Día del Padre. Después de una actuación tan dominante en ambos lados y que caían los tiros de distintos compañeros, ¿qué efecto tiene esto en la confianza y cómo replicarlo, sobre todo ahora también como visitante?
Bastante, no es fácil ganar de tanto en una final y sobre todo más a Boston. Pero bueno, al final del día es igual si ganas de 1 o de 40. Así que nosotros tenemos mucha confianza en nosotros y vamos a creer hasta el final.
Any other questions? Last one, Brad, right here on the left.
On the subject of Father's Day, this being your first as a father, any special feelings when you got up this morning, or before you left?
Not really, just being happy being a father. It's been the best thing in my life, so that's it, just being happy.
And then there was kind of a cool photo of Kyrie's dad and your dad after game the other night. What'd you think about that?
It was a very special moment. I know they both. I think they're very proud of their sons, so they're happy that we're happy on the court together.
Thank you. All right, we have the microphones around the room. We'll take questions. I think, David, you got one in the back? Yep.
And hi, Kyrie. We didn't see you guys on court before Game 4, and we can feel this more tense atmosphere in the locker room before the Game 4. And now during the shooting practice, you were joking around, having fun, smile, and we can feel that it's lighter right now. And I want to know how much lighter is the atmosphere among you guys, and how we could help during the game.
Yeah, I don't want you to mistake us smiling and joking around with each other and being in practice, for a weakness or that we're not taking this any more serious than we were in Game 4. I just think we're here in Boston. We're just trying to settle ourselves. We had a meeting, just as a squad at the hotel where we went over film. So we're pretty locked in from there, and there was carryover into our early minutes in practice. And then when you guys come in, pretty much having fun. That's It's been this way since we were kids. We want to make sure we relish in this moment, don't take it for granted, and just ground ourselves here too. I think the last 2 games we were even more intense. When we were here in Boston, don't think we got as settled as we would have liked. So we just wanted to try some things a little different, a little bit more smiling, and then 24 hours from now getting ready for all-out battle against this great Celtics team.
4th row on your right, on the aisle.
Kyrie, I just want to ask you about your growth, your evolution, spiritually, off the court, on the court. It seems like every interaction that you have is very, very positive. You see that just in your body language, with your teammates on the court. You see that with the chemistry, and you see that when you talk to the press. It seems like there's been a tremendous growth. Can you speak to that? And also, how have you evolved in your view since you left Boston in 2019?
Well, to answer your first part of your question, I would I would be being dishonest if I just took the time to say thank you for putting those words together. In terms of my interactions with people being majority of the time positive. I'll be honest with you, it's not always positive all the time. I'm human. Sometimes there's some misunderstanding or miscommunications, and it takes a little bit of a longer, thorough conversation just to get on the same page. I think I've just figured out in my life that a lot of people just want the time and space to be heard. They want to be listened to, and then if they respect you and you respect them, then they'll listen to you and give you the space to, give you the space to say how you feel as well. I've talked about it over the past few months, just where I was in 2017 or 18 when I first got traded here to Boston. I wasn't in the place to be able to vocalize my feelings or know how to do that. I was learning how to be a man, learning how to be a father. So part of that evolution came from that of, taking the time to go inside and figure out who I wanted to become. But also I had to accept some of the choices I had done in my life. And, when you look at yourself in the mirror, sometimes you don't like what you see, and that could lead to some depression or lead to some anxiety or lead to other mental health issues. And that's a big thing that I think our generation is spearheading, where I hope that the older generation can take a lesson out of our book that, this isn't just some spiritual 70s type of mantras that we're trying to put out here. We actually believe in what we talk about in terms of meditation and having the ability to slow your life down and making sure that you keep your priorities straight, because the world isn't going to care about how you feel mentally all the time or whether or not you are healthy when you're at home or taking care of yourself. So you got to figure out that space for yourself and figure out the village and the tribe that you want to have around you that supports those goals that you have personally. So I don't want to get too preachy again here. How I could speak for hours, but just that's been the growth since 2017. Even before then, just learning how to be a person in this world, making an impact in a positive way.
David, back left.
David Aldridge, The Athletic. Kyrie, you played in a place in Cleveland that had incredible pressure to win a championship because of the history, and they hadn't won in so long. I wonder, though, what was different about when you came here because of the history of this franchise and the almost expectation of this franchise that every year you're supposed to win a championship here, and if you don't, it's a complete failure.
When I look back on it, getting traded here, this wasn't one of my options. It wasn't like number one on my list. So when the trade opportunity got approached to me, instead of going back and appreciating the Celtics history, I just came in with an open mind and just kind of like, all right, I'm just going to go with the flow into this. But I think that was the wrong approach, just being young. But now that I'm a little older, hindsight looking back on it, I definitely would have taken the time to get to know people within the community, talk to some of the champions that have come before me, actually extend myself to them instead of the other way around, expecting them to be there for me and give me advice. Because they've been through it. They have championship pedigree here. They've shown it for years. They're one of the most winningest franchise in all of sports. So you have to show your respects here. And I think that's what I struggled with initially, was figuring out how I'm going to be a great player here while winning championships, while also leading a team and selflessly joining the Celtics organization or the cult that they have here. And that's what they expect you to do as a player. They expect you to seamlessly buy into the Celtics pride, buy into everything Celtics, and if you don't, then you'll be outed. And I'm one of the people that's on the outs. I'm perfectly fine with that. You know what I mean? I did it to myself. They don't welcome me in with warm embrace, even though I know a lot of people in the organization and my friends still here, some of them. But yeah, it was just a doing to myself, and that's what I was talking about in terms of accepting the choices. But looking back on it, definitely would have showed my respect and had more of a counsel around me from some of the Boston Celtics that came before me to explain what the pressure is like. So,
if it's at all possible, it is impossible to take yourself out of the equation. But just what is it like for a player to come here to Boston when you look up and you see all the banners and everything, you know what this franchise is about and what the expectations are?
Yeah, I mean, you just expect to have a magnifying glass on you everywhere you go. I don't think Boston appreciates being kind of second class in New York in terms of the media capital world, but this is a media capital world as well. There's a lot of history here off the court, so the community is integrated into the Celtics team. That's probably the best way I could say it. The community is what makes the Celtics great here. The Boston pandemonium, that's what makes the space so loud and so special, and they take pride in it. So if any player is coming here, getting drafted here, or thinking about coming here free agency or getting traded here, I just think do your homework and make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. That's something I could offer.
Dwayne, back left.
Kyrie, what did you see out of Tim the other night and the looks that he got, and how does you guys make sure he get those same looks tomorrow night?
Yeah, he was just playing with a liberation, about within his game, and he came out knocking shots, and that's what we need from him, is just to stay confident, stay fluid, and he's been doing a great job with the young guys on the bench as well, keeping them engaged. And I think that's the next part of his evolution, including all of ours, is just continuing to be a better teammate, regardless if you're shooting the ball or not. And I think that helps reward you when you're doing those things. So,
Tim?
Kyrie, you talked about you guys as a team getting settled and not having been able to necessarily do that the first couple games. Given the circumstances here with, as you said, you being on the outs, how do you personally get yourself settled and get yourself to a place where you can perform at the level that they need you?
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see tomorrow, man. Change a few things up, be prepared for what I'm getting myself into. My teammates, most importantly, and not making this about me or getting into the energy with anyone else other than my teammates, and that's about it.
Jeff, fourth row on the left.
Jeff Zilgate, USA Today. Kyrie, it's a slight follow-up to what Tim just asked. I know you wanted to play well here, and maybe you indicated after the first two games maybe not up to your standards. So I wonder what's the balance between having the responsibility to do what you need to do, but without making it too pressure-filled?
Let's just call it what it is. When the fans are chanting Kyrie sucks or anything, they feel like they have a psychological edge, and that's fair. And of course, if I'm not making shots or turning the ball over, that makes it even more of a pressing issue, right, that they can stay on me for. So I think in order to silence even the self-doubt, let alone the crowd doubt, but the self-doubt when you make or miss shots, that's just as important as making sure that I'm leading the team in the right way and being human through this experience too, and telling them how I feel. I've had a few teammates be in this building with me on wins and losses, so I know what it feels like for both, but I try to pay attention to the positive things that got us wins here early in my career, and then also thinking about the things I can learn from throughout the performances that I've had here where I didn't play up to par. So it's just being honest about it, and then also breathing through the experience and having fun with it.
Tomer, last question on the left.
Kyrie, Tomer Azarli with The Athletic with Clutch Points. Excuse me. The other day, Phil Handy was on a podcast with Matt Barnes, and he talked about coming back from a 3-1 deficit and just winning those 3 games. And your mind just goes to, how do we win 3 of them? The task that you guys have before you, like, how do you break it down to not look at 4 games, 3 games, 2 games, just look at 1 game at a time? How does that process work for you?
For me or our team?
The team.
Man, by just thinking about the goal that we have in front of us as best we can, and try not to get tired of everyone talking about the history that has not been made. And I've said it over the past 48 hours, just putting our best foot forward and just simplifying. It's basketball, win, lose, or draw. It's all, or win or lose. That's all that can happen. So just want to be as prepared as you can for whatever the environment's going to be like in terms of what's expected from you. But I think what I'm sharing with my teammates now is just enjoy the moment, and we got a chance to accomplish one of our goals, which is to make it back to Boston. So we have another goal in front of us, and that's to make it back to Dallas.